Good afternoon everyone, welcome to another podcast. Sorry again, it's been a long time since I've done one. It's been a really busy year this year. It's summer afternoon, it's nice and hot, and I'm out on one of the local streams. Nice kind of limestoney clear stream. Actually there's a bit of cloud around, but it's been quite warm. Not a lot rising, but there's lots of lovely water coming down because we had a bit of a lift about a week ago, so it's not massively low, reasonable level. I'm just going to prospect up with a little dry, I think, and then I'll try and pick off anything I do see rising. But the name of the game today, I think, is stealth, keeping low, fishing some of the shallower water where the fish haven't got too far to move to the fly. It's an absolutely cracking piece of water, this. I'm just going to start creeping through some undergrowth and rushes, keeping low, and then the river's about 20 feet across. In places, and then down to kind of 8 or 10 in others. And I'm just going to fish this little dry under the rod tip. I've got a 9-foot 5-weight fast action sage rod. I've got a little size 16 Griffiths gnat on, and I'm going to barely fish with any fly line out to start off with. It's cloudy, the vegetation's looking green and lovely, the weed fronds are waving in the river, so I'm just going to tap out from now a little dry, keeping low, and just fish under my rod tip into this seamer current that's coming down, and at the same time just keeping one eye out for potentially a fish rising. But when you're prospecting with a dry like this, I've found it's good sometimes to fish the shallow water. There's not a huge amount rising, because in that shallow water the fish haven't got far to go to get to your fly, so they seem a little bit more inclined to rise to it. Right, I keep popping these casts out. It's a bit of an awkward cast here. I'm to cast over my left shoulder, there's trees and stuff in the way, but it's a nice piece of water. There's a tongue of current on my side, and that eventually goes into a lovely weedy shallow fast riffle, and hopefully that's where I'll be able to get my fly running down nicely, because I'd expect maybe a summer fish in there, dart out the weeds and make a grab maybe. Creeping through this undergrowth best I can. Let me just sort this leader out a touch. Lots of vegetation here, so once you get your leader nicked on some of it, it's a nightmare, but I'll keep tapping it out, keeping the rod nice and high, fly line off the water, and minimise the drag. And what I'm hoping here really today is the most obliging fish is probably a little wild rainbow. We've got some wild rainbows in here, and the small ones in summer tend to be fairly active and will make a grab for your fly in the shallow water if I can find one. And then butterflies are out in amongst the wildflowers in the meadow, which is nice to see. Right, keep tossing this fly up the stream. I'm not seeing a rise yet. I've actually been out guiding this morning. We did have one on a dry and some on a nymph, but there was very little rising on the river. Different river I was on this morning. There we go. Oh, missed you. I was just chatting and had a grab at the fly. Just missed it. Again, I'm just into the faster, shallower water now, and that's where there was a little rise at the fly. But the other thing we get this time of year as well is these little grayling are grabbing at the fly very fast, only a little, and then often they'll have a rise at it but not commit, so you can get these little kind of rises that you're striking into them all the time, there's just nothing connecting there, and sometimes it's these little grayling just playing with it a bit. But I've had one little reaction, so that's good. Keep going upstream. I'm fishing into the nice thin water now, bubbly water, probably only a foot deep, and I'll fish right up into where it's about probably 6 inches. And I've got my polarised glasses on, which is great for seeing a few fish and seeing the fly, but you have to be careful in this clear water that you don't actually strike a bit too soon, because you'll see the fish coming off the bottom for the fly, and it's tempting to get a bit excited and hit it before they've actually taken it. I'm mending the line now as well, just to get the best possible drift of fly. Okay, slotting my back cast between a couple of trees, which is interesting. I just find amazing these Griffiths gnats are so easy to see as a fly. You think looking at it in the fly box, I'm never going to see that, and they seem to float very high, and the hackle almost looks whiter on the water, and they're lovely flies to watch. Right, I've just got a couple of casts probably left, and then I'll have to move. I've run out of space. Right, let's move upriver. Okay, one reaction to the fly there, which is nice. And I'm going to go and fish an old abandoned weir pool now, just on the next little bit of river. I just walk up the bank through the meadow, and it's perfect at the minute because we've had so much rain, and it's been warmish and the sun's been out, so everything's growing, and the wildflowers included. There's beautiful, beautiful meadows of wildflowers here. Just coming through them now, and then this is an awkward cast in this next bit. Just get through the gate. Whee. Okay, so really overgrown, difficult cast here. I've got my long handled net with me today, but this is an old weir pool, so it's very well oxygenated. Again, I'll start close in. Just slightly concerned how I'm going to net a fish here, to be honest. Yeah, should look into that before I cast. I think I'm going to struggle. I can't actually get to the bank. No, I might have to give this one a miss. I can't successfully net anything in that. That's a shame. Oh well, we'll progress upstream. So the last thing I want to do is be in a position where I hook a trout and not being able to get it in the net. Right, back through the meadows then. And it's a lovely fishing afternoon. It's not the best time of year, to be fair. We're kind of late July. And the fish have just started to that summer ritual of sipping and rising once at things, or they're right under the trees. But there's always a chance. This is a bit slower, the water here, so I'll really wait to see if I can see anything rising. Well, I can't see anything, so I'll kind of get low, and again there's a little bit of slightly quicker water, and I'll get nice and low and put the fly into that. Right, I actually stood on a bed of wild mint here, and it's so pungent in this summer sun. You can smell the mint. Just prospecting into some slightly quicker water. God, that does stink, that mint. Very nice, but it does smell. Just to see if I can bring something up. It's gone quite warm now again. Quite sunny. nothing behind me, so I can cast as far as I wish to here. Again, it's over the opposite shoulder. The lovely thing about this rod, it's so accurate. Over the opposite shoulder, and you kind of crouched in an awkward position, you can still just slot your fly right onto the zone of where you need to be. I'll try one more in here, then keep moving. I'm going to move quite quickly today. One more for luck. I had a nice fish out of here on the mayfly actually, earlier in the year. No, nothing coming up there. Up we go. Again, I'm just going to get super low coming up to the river. It's nice and fast water here. Super low, get right down. There we go. Oh, you missed you. Yeah, straight away. Mind you, I don't know how. I didn't feel the fish, it just came up and plucked at the fly on the surface, but didn't see what it was. Drop a few right in the head of the run, just in case there's something up there. It's lovely, this kind of fishing, and as much as it's lovely to get a fish, wow, must be about 30 geese taking off there. It keeps you on your toes, you know, and you really don't mind as long as you're getting a reaction to your fly. Keeps you on your toes, keeps you busy, keeps you thinking. Right, one more here, and then I'm going to have a little bit of a look further upstream. I'll cover this again on my way back down. Right, let's leave that. So what's that? 2 or 3 rises in the first chunk of time. Will only be a short session today. Let's have a little wander. Now the fishing's quite pokey and difficult further up here, but I'll just see what we can find. Again, I've not actually seen, apart from the fish that have, I've seen one rise. I just nip down here, have a quick look upstream. I wonder how your season's been doing with your fishing. I've had a pretty good year, to be honest. Had a nice salmon. Had lots of chub, I've had grayling, trout, river still water. It's been plenty of water, and the rain's kept the levels topped up as well, so I think it's been a fair year, to be honest, for me anyway. You have some good years and some bad ones, but right, let's just drop down into the, just about get a cast out here. Right, I'm back in after a quick accident with my leader. I stuck my fly in a tree, so I've actually changed over to an oil care caddis now in this fast water. Very tricky casting, really hard. Oh, big rainbow. Oh man, that's off. That stitched me right up. Big rainbow just came out of nowhere and nailed it. And yeah, that's totally stitched me up. Oh man, that was a big fish. Big wild rainbow just came up. I saw it come off the bottom, nailed the fly, and straight into the roots of a tree, unstoppable. Man, that was a big fish. Never mind. To be honest, I wasn't quite ready for it either. My line was a little bit caught around some thistles, and that's my excuse anyway. But there you go. I lost one like that in mayfly as well, actually. But that's the way it goes with big fish. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. Right, I've got the caddis back on. That made an impression straight away. And I've just going to float it down again. Fascinating watching it come off the bottom though. Wouldn't know it was there, and then it's just this shadow emerges, and then kabump, up comes this big mouth, and then it did one leap and shot off like an absolute rocket. It's got to be 3 pounds, 2 to 3 pounds easy for a wild fish, and this flow one is a big one. Now yes, in again. Not as big, but it's decent. Come on. Yes, there we go. In the net. Brownie. Beautiful brownie. Perfect. Oh, fantastic. Oh, and I'm sat amongst a load of thistles and mint to slide down on my bum to net it. It's such a good summer spot this, and I doubt anyone's fished it. That was casting my fly right up into the head of the riffle, and I managed to nail that one. One of my new flies as well, actually, a little hot butt caddis with a deer hair. It's not bleached, not as easy to see, but it's a lovely looking little fly actually. Right, I'm just going to give that a shake to dry off. I think there's probably another fish or two amongst, if I can just cast it amongst that thin water at the top. Oh, another rise, missed that one. It's full of fish, this riffle, absolutely full of them. And they're all of a decent size as well. That last brownie was well, when I say decent, wild river fish, that was a pound, and that was I thought it was bigger at first, but I've seen 2 or 3 and they've been bigger than that. Oh, that was a big fish, just moved under the fly then. Very nice fish. I've got my polarised glasses on, so I saw that, you know, just moved off its station at the bottom of the river. If you saw where I was fishing, you'd understand. You'd think you'd be crazy to try and fish there. You're nuts trying to get a cast out, but sometimes these are the places where you've got to get into. But it's such a pokey hole in amongst the trees, and there's one nagging branch that's almost catching every single cast. It's a case of inches really. Back cast is okay. It's the one on the forward cast, and then I'm up to my pretty much my thighs in thistles, nettles, and which is catching on my lime pile constantly as well. So it's challenging, shall we say. I wouldn't bring a client here, put it that way. I think they look at me gone mad. Well, that's me done. Short and sweet, great fun this afternoon. Managed to pick up a nice brownie, saw a monster, missed plenty. So a cracking afternoon's dry fly fishing. Lovely summer's day as well. Thank you so much for listening. For help and inquiries regarding guiding or fly fishing lessons, it's www.peaksflyfishing.com, and for our shop, online store is shop.peaksflyfishing.com. And as ever, if you're ever passing through Sheffield, call into our Sheffield store and come and say hello. Until next time, thanks for listening and goodbye.